and everything is clear or not. Good evening to everyone. Very good. Good to see all of you. Hello. Hi. Konnichiwa. Good to see all of you. Okay. So it's a short session. Chota session hai because it's a very specific question that we need to focus upon. SOP, statement of purpose. Statement of purpose. Here they are primarily looking at you responding to three questions. First, why do you want to do MBA? Second, why you want to do MBA from their institute? So why MBA? Why that particular institute? And the third and the most important question, why should we select you? Statement of purpose is basically about responding to these three questions: why MBA, why that MBA institute, why to select you. It's as clear as that. And the structure is important. We'll discuss about the structure. It has to be presented in a neat structure. It has to be coherent. And I would request those people who are in the other room to kindly keep the voices like as low as possible so that there is no disturbance. Now, coming to why MBA. Now, when we talk about why MBA, there are few things that need to cover. First, the interest. You are interested in MBA. Why are you interested in MBA? Interest can come from multiple sources: family, friends, seniors, role models, hobbies, skill set. Why are you interested in MBA? So when we are talking about why MBA, you need to respond to this question from not only one perspective, but multiple perspective. आपको किससे इंस्पिरेशन मिला उसके बारे में आपको लिखना है. वर्किंग है आप प्रोफेशनल वर्क स्पेस में, कहां से इंस्पिरेशन मिला. अगर आप बैचलर्स कर रहे हैं, मास्टर्स कर रहे हैं, तो उस इंस्टीट्यूट में कैसे आपको इंस्पिरेशन मिला. घर पे अगर आपके लोगों ने एमबीए किया है, उनको देख के इंस्पिरेशन मिला कि उनको क्या फायदा हुआ एमबीए करके. सो वेयर डिड यू गेट दिस इंस्पिरेशन फ्रॉम? दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सेकेंड, there has to be a thorough research on the academic program MBA. So even though most of us want to do MBA because of getting a good opportunity at a young age, placement becomes a very, very integral part of that opportunity, that platform from where you can jumpstart your career. But when you're giving an interview, the interview is being taken by professors, they're academic people, and they want you to have a thorough knowledge of the academic program. Here we are talking about the course curriculum, the course structure. So sales and marketing is there, finance is there, operations is there, systems or IT is there, human resource management is there, and some of the top-notch institutes, including IIMs, they even offer specialization in strategic management. So you need to know first, what is sales and marketing? What is finance? What is operations? What is systems? What is HR? What is strategy? You don't need to go too much into detail, but you need to have an idea of what these areas are about. Then inside these areas, you need to further research. For example, if you talk about sales and marketing, you have channel sales, you have brand management and product policy, you have market research, you have marketing of high-tech products, you have consumer behavior. So inside the marketing management program, you are having electives, subjects, which are of different kinds and types. Some subjects are purely statistical, like market research, where you basically do primary research, secondary research, collect data, analyze them on SPSS, and use cluster analysis and different statistical tools to analyze the data. So some subjects in marketing are purely statistical, mathematical. Whereas some subjects like consumer behavior is psychological. So you need to understand the psychological mindset of the consumer behavior. So when even we look at an area, you cannot say, okay, this particular area or function, they're called functions of management. This function of management, say marketing, is non-technical or this is technical. There are various subjects inside an area. Some of them are mathematical, some of them are towards humanity, some of them are a mix. So you need to do some research. Some students will say, sir, I want to do MBA in finance, I want to be an investment banker. Now, this is a very general statement. You need to go dive down, research on finance, and see which are the areas, which are the topics, which are the subjects which are taught. Then only you will be able to build clarity. Why MBA cannot be, sir, I want to do MBA because I want a good job, I want a good profile, or I want to be an investment bank. No, you have to do a thorough research on the course curriculum. For example, human resource management is there. So human resource management is having three areas: PM, IR, and HRD. PM is personal management, IR is industrial relations, also known as labor relations. For example, XLRI's full form is Xavier Labor Relations Institute. And then you have HRD, human resource development, which is also training and development. Inside personal management, also you have talent acquisition, talent retention, talent attraction, and things like performance appraisal, 360-degree performance appraisal, and many things are there. Then industrial relations or labor relation refers to those companies which have like a huge labor force. So you need to know about labor laws and how to manage trade unions. So all these big companies which are into manufacturing, they'll be having a big division of people who are specialists in industrial relations. And then the third wing of HR, training and development, because people have to be trained. I'll give you a small example. We are living in the era of fourth industrial revolution, also called Industry 4.0. So in the next 3-4 years, if someone is not knowing about artificial intelligence, generative AI, Internet of Things, machine learning, augmented reality, then they'll be completely left behind. The third industrial revolution, the industrial revolution which was before this industrial revolution, Industry 4.0, was digital revolution, because of which right now this session is happening on Zoom. We're using computers, everything is digital. So if someone was not able to, cope up, learn the nuances of the digital revolution, then they would have been left behind. They would have been technologically challenged. And finally, the industrial revolution in itself is such a big thing that it will percolate down to even those who are at the bottom of the pyramid. That's the reason today you can even make payments to the local chai wala or even to the e-rickshaw wala via GPay. So similarly, the training and development wing of a company, they ensure that continuous training and development activities keep happening so that the employees are able to be equipped with the latest practices and latest know-how in the market, which they use to further enhance the product or service excellence of that particular company. So A, SOP, why MBA? Why MBA? Multiple things needs to be covered. For example, where the influence came from. Why did you get so interested in doing MBA? What influenced you since childhood? I wanted to do an MBA because my brother, who did his BTech in computer science from IT Kharagpur, then he went to IIM Ahmedabad to do his MBA, and then he specialized in finance and he took up investment banking. His first job was with Lehman Brothers. That time it was the largest investment bank, and straight away he was placed in the head office of Lehman Brothers, which was there in World Trade Center in New York City. So talking to him, seeing his journey and all, it motivated me, it influenced me. So influences. Then just on the basis of influence, you can't do something because that will be too dramatic, that will be too filmy. So finally, for 2 years, that in those 2 years that you'll be spending inside the MBA Institute, placement will be a one-time activity. 4 or 5 days and your placement is done. What you'll be doing for the remaining part of the journey, you'll be studying, you'll be doing courses, you'll be selecting electives. So in the first year, it'll be like a general MBA where you'll have to study all the functions of management. And in the second year, you'll be choosing 2 to 3 functions and you'll be majoring in them. So you need to know about the course curriculum. So thorough research on the course curriculum and you have to then talk about what interests you in that core curriculum, which topics or which subjects interest you, and if you can establish an academic correlation. So, for example, many BTech students, they would have studied operations management. They would be knowing about total quality management, Six Sigma, operational processes like Kanban, Pokayok, and these kind of things. Many students who did BBA or BCom would have studied marketing management. They would have studied the book by Kotler. They would be knowing 4Ps. They would have studied organizational behavior. They would have come across Maslow hierarchy and these sort of concepts. So when you'll be doing a thorough research, you'll be seeing there are subjects which you have already studied. So there has to be an academic correlation because finally you're going for an academic program, a 2-year academic program. There is financial accounting, there is business law, there are many things. There is macroeconomics, there is microeconomics, there is statistics, there is quantitative analysis. There are many things that will be taught to you, business communication. So even some students who are in the art stream and they will be scratching their head over, okay, I don't know, sir, if there is any academic correlation with the MBA program, but you have business communication, which is so important. People management, business communication, this is like the key. In fact, there are some institutes like MICA in Ahmedabad, Mudra Institute of Communications and Advertising, which make you specialize in MarCom, that is marketing communication. There is a brochure or a TV, television ad or a corporate video or a positioning statement like Nike has just do it. This is what all sorts of communication being done to the market by the company, which is very, very important. So you guys need to do research. So the research can be as simple as going on Wikipedia and reading about it, and then following the hyperlinks and trying to read more about it, to buying books, handbooks of Harvard Business Review, Harvard Business Review notebook, handbook on marketing is there, on finance is there, on operations is there, IT is there, HR is there. Plus, you can also be reading a book like New Ocean Strategy, sharing all the books today. So in this book, there are case studies. And these different case studies will belong to different functions and areas of management. So it gives you an idea about, okay, what is going to be the purpose of studying for those 2 years and how we can utilize the academic knowledge in real life methodology to make a difference. Otherwise, maybe in an interview, interviewer can ask you, okay, this person is doing so good in business, he's not an MBA, so why you want to do a business program of 2 years if you want to be an entrepreneur? You can come up with, sir, in this case, this was the market entry strategy, and they used Porter's 5 forces model, and this particular market share, and the growth. Have a slight disturbance here. What happened? Voice problem. Okay, is my voice audible? Shubham is saying there is some issue. No voice. Now voice is audible? Yeah, voice is audible. Good, great. The voice was not audible for how long? So that I can reiterate, was it 2 minutes? So it's okay. So I think you guys are getting a hang of this. SOP, basically 3 broad questions need to be responded to specifically, not beating around the bush. It's not an essay. Don't start writing those subjective answers without any head or tail, beating around the bush. Do not use chat GPT. Your answers are going to be unique because your answer will be like, why MBA? So as I told you, my influence was coming from, say, my brother. How can I copy my SOP? When I did my research of the course curriculum of MBA program, how can I copy? My interests will be different in different subjects. I wanted to specialize in different areas in comparison to my friends, and even inside those areas, some subjects appealed more to me. I was able to correlate more to them. So first is why MBA. Here again, the focus is on 3 points. First is the influence. Second is the subjects or the functions with which you can correlate both interest as well as study wise that you have studied, you have had some exposure to them. And what is the third part? Skill set. If you just do a random Google search on what are the skills required to be a good manager, a good business leader, you'll come across a variety of skills. You don't need to identify with all the skills which are there. Some of you are proactive, some of you are extroverted personality, some of you are good at research, some of you are good listeners, some of you, everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. And I bet that all of you will be able to correlate with some of the skills which are present there in order to be a good business leader, a good manager. Why MBA? Because of all these three reasons. And all three of them need to be there: influence, subjects, and skill set. We all have our, some of you are hard workers, some of you basically have this never say die kind of a spirit. But whatever you write has to be supported with an example. Otherwise, it won't be believable. Influence, you have to quote where the influence is coming from. It has to be something specific, something real. Subjects, you have to talk about those subjects. And then during the interview, the professors are going to further, ask you questions from that subject or subjects. Skill set. If someone says that, sir, I'm good at crisis management. Suppose someone asks me, please, Ashish, tell us something about the skills that you possess, which can make you a good leader for our company, for our organization. So if I say, sir, crisis management is one of them, then I have to narrate to them that, sir, this was a crisis, this was crisis A, this was crisis B, this was crisis C, this is the approach that I took, this was my learning. And every time you just can't talk about wins. This was a failure, and from the failure, this is what I learned. So the next time when something like this happened, I was able to use that learning. Because like life is basically both personal and professional life is a constant learning experience. Nobody can be just, winning. It's just not possible. So sometimes you'll be losing, and sometimes the outcome would be something which you didn't like. But then the learning, it's like a mock right now. Some of the students are going to be disappointed. Why? Because they're not scoring well in the mocks. But then my question is, if you're not scoring good in a particular mock, then you have to do a deeper test analysis of that mock. See, where did I go wrong? So that if such a paper comes again, I'm able to tackle it because now I know how to tackle it. So instead of getting dejected with a poor performance in a mock cat, in an aim cat, in a SAM cat, in an advanced sectional test, you should be happy that's not the real paper. The real paper is on 24th. So even if you're taking a paper on say 22nd of November and it didn't go well, you don't have to like spoil your mood and screw the paper on 24th. You have to analyze the paper deeply. कितना आ सकता था, कितना आया, क्यों नहीं आया, क्यों सिली मिस्टेक्स हो रहे हैं, ये क्वेश्चन, ये पैसेज, ये सेट में क्यों फंस के रह गए, क्यों नहीं निकल पाए. तो संक कॉस्ट बोलते हैं बिजनेस में. मार्क और रिव्यू का भी तो ऑप्शन है. अगर कुछ नहीं हो पा रहा है आप उसको मार्क कर दो. When you have solved more doable questions and if still there is some time left, you can go on your review and look at which are the questions which you had marked and then select usme fir kaun sa karna hai depending on how much time is left and on the difficulty level of the questions you have marked. The entire game is of right selection of questions, sets and passages on that day. Work on your strengths. Don't work on your weaknesses. It is too late basically to work on your weaknesses when it comes to the CAT paper. Interview, you can work on the weaknesses because the interview will start happening from March onwards, and March, April, May. These are the 3 months when the interviews generally happen. But if you talk about the paper, if you are working on a weakness, then even if you are going to work a lot on your weakness on the day of CAT, you will still not be as confident as in those questions which are coming from your strong areas. So capitalize on your strengths. So why MBA? Influence, subjects, slash functions, skill set. Is it clear? Is anyone having any doubt? Clear. Okay. Now the second question is, why this institute? For that, you need to do a thorough reading of the website of that institute. For example, when I went for my interview at IIM-K, I had exposure to programs of UNICEF, where I was a part of the Polio Plus program, national literacy. I had also participated in the national literacy program of the government. So I looked at the website of IIM Kozhikode. They have this group known as SSG, Social Services Group. So in my SOP, I talked about that how I would like to be a part of the SSG and what will be my contribution and also what kind of learning I'll be getting from my seniors and from the professors who are a part of SSG and from my peer group. There are sports communities. So if I was a cricketer, so I also talked about how I'll be able to contribute to the sports cricket team there of IIM Kozhikode because they have this sports competition between IIM Bangalore and IIM Kozhikode called Sangram, and they need people who can play table tennis, badminton, carom, football, cricket, like all sorts of sports. Then there are cultural fests. Then those students who are interested in consulting, there is a consulting club. There is the finance committee, there's the marketing committee, there's an operations committee, there is a strategy committee. There are all sorts of committees, both related to functions as well as interest groups. So you have to talk about them, but you can only talk about them when you go to the website. And then not only that, different kind of events keep happening in these institutes, in these business schools. So you have to do a thorough research. You can't say, sir, I want to be a part of FMS because FMS is a great institute. It's one of the top-notch institutes. It is having excellent peer group. It is having esteemed faculty members. It's the oldest MBA program in the country. That's a generic answer. You have to give SOP has to be specific to your candidature. It is very, very important. It has to talk about you. So when you put something which is not specific in your SOP, it does not get points. When you say something in the interview which is not specific to your candidature, to you, you do not get points. This is not a social studies exam. This is a very, very specific. SOP is a very specific question. Interview is also very specific to you. So you don't look at some time students message me that, sir, can you share some SOPs? How can I share someone else's SOP and how can it influence your SOP? Because like your strength, weaknesses, your experiences, your family background, everything will be different. Where you come from, your dad, your mom, what are they doing? Everything is different about everyone. We all are unique snowflakes. So when it comes to Y Institute also, every institute is different. Don't copy paste the same by this particular institute for every institute. Go through their website, research, see what you can relate to, like how I talked about correlation when it comes to academic subjects. Similarly, what all the information which is given in the institute's website, you have to do a thorough read and then correlate to your candidature. Why MBA, why institute? Am I clear so far? Should we include sports only if you have certificates? So it's not compulsory, but then if you have been too much into sports, you will have some certificate. But even if you don't have and you are like genuinely, see, a SOP and interview has to be a very honest experience. The professor, the other person can immediately make out when you're bluffing. You just can't, act so well in that closed room with three people sitting in front of you and you being the interviewee. You can't fake that experience. It's not at all something where you can, because you don't know till what level you'll be probed. आपने कुछ बोला, आपने उस चीज से रिलेटेड जो आप बोले हैं, कुछ चीजें प्रिपेयर करके गए हैं, बट जो आपने नहीं प्रिपेयर किया है वो आपसे पूछ लिया गया। अगर आप कुछ जेन्युइन चीज बता रहे हैं तो वो कुछ भी पूछेंगे, आपको डरने की बात नहीं, बिकॉज वो तो जेन्युइन बता रहे हैं। कोई बोलेगा सर आई एम अ फूडी, तो अगर वो सही का फूडी है, क्या खाना पसंद करता है, किधर खाना पसंद करता है, किस तरह का क्यूजीन पसंद करता है, किस तरह के शोज देखता है, कौन से फूड ब्लॉगर्स उसको पसंद है, कौन से उसके फेवरेट शेफ्स हैं। नथिंग टू फेक अबाउट इट। सर आई लव रीडिंग, 5 बुक्स हैं और या 4 बुक्स हैं, सिर्फ उसको होता है जिस्ट को पढ़ लिया और वहां जाके झूठ बोल दिया, सर ये 4 बुक है, आई लव रीडिंग। बोलेगा बस 4 ही बुक आपको रीडिंग पसंद है, आप 24, 23, 25, 30 जो भी ईयर के हो, आपने बस 4 ही किताब पढ़े हैं, 5 ही किताब पढ़े हैं। You cannot fake anything. It is just not possible. Now, the third and the most important thing. Okay, I'll just quickly respond to Sparsh कि 20th से 24th के बीच में क्या करें। आप मॉक लिखें, एनालाइज करें, और बार बार कुछ बच्चे बोल रहे रिवीजन, यानी किस चीज का रिवीजन करेंगे? ये कोई स्कूल कॉलेज का एग्जाम नहीं है कि आप रिवीजन कर रहे हैं तो you are like again learning something by heart so that if it comes you can reproduce it there during the paper. There is like what revision people talk about, I don't get it in competitive examinations, especially in aptitude tests. Don't leave testing, because if suppose your last test was on 18th of November, by the time it is 24th of November, you will start feeling scared because test लिए हुए 4 5 6 दिन 7 दिन हो गए. Even if you take a test on 22nd of November and it didn't go well, it is okay. I think more of the chances of a good experience in CAT on 24th of November, because you would have analyzed, you would have again revisited your mistakes, your weaknesses, and how you're going to overcome them in the real paper. You can relax at max on 23rd. On 23rd, you go visit the center. Don't straight away go to the center on 24th, because if you're delayed, they won't allow you inside the examination hall. So on 23rd, you have to go and see your center. Relax. And even if you have to revise, just revise the formula. There is nothing much to revise. The third, why to select you? आपने ये बता दिया आपको MBA क्यों करना है. You have been able to talk about the influences. You have been able to talk about your subjects, interest in the management subjects and functions. You have been able to talk about the skills that you possess. You have talked about why, what you like about that institute, and how you think you can fit in and contribute and learn at the same time. But again, there are many people who will be having the right reasons to pursue MBA. But why should they select you? Why not the other person? Why select you? The answer is obvious. They should select you on the basis of A, your strengths, your achievements, your participations, these things, of course. So this is where you talk about your strengths, the exposure that you have got, which will be a value add for your peer group. This is the time when you talk about your co-curricular, extracurricular, your hobbies, your interests, your scholastic achievements, your unique things about your personality. So here even the personality traits start coming in. Why to select you? Of course, on the basis of positives. On the basis of positives that you possess. And here you don't have to copy, because again, if you say something, this is something positive about me, and if it is not genuine, real, they'll be able to like catch you, because they'll be probing. Their job is basically whatever you say on the basis, whatever you write in your SOP, or whatever you say on the basis of that, they're going to ask questions. That's how interview happens. In interview, you want to be tested on 2 fronts majorly. One is the subjects that you have studied, and if you're a working professional, on the basis of the understanding of your work, your company, your industry. And the second is on the basis of PI questions, personal interview questions, like tell me something about yourself. You start telling them what? Of course, good things about you. And then on the basis of that, they're going to be asking you, cross-questioning you. What are your strengths and weaknesses? What are your hobbies and interests? Please tell us a significant achievement of your life. Please tell us about a failure that you encountered. How do you perform as a team member? What if you are not selected? What is an alternate career path that you have thought about? So many questions will be coming. All are called PI questions. But if you have a strong SOP, all the PI questions are going to be responded to. Someone is asking that क्या सब colleges में SOP submit करना पड़ता है? Yes. Some colleges you have to write the SOP when you are applying to them. For example, FMS, SPJ. Some institutes won't ask you about SOP and PI answers right now, but if you're shortlisted for the interview, then again you have to fill the form during that time, which will be having the interview questionnaire. So for all the institutes, before you go for the interview, you have to make your SOP. And your SOP is the biggest ready reckoner for you because it is like encapsulating your entire candidature, and that's what you have to present in the interview. Because the SOP, as I mentioned, has your strengths, has your skill set, is talking about the academic correlation, it's talking about the influences of your life, it's talking about all the good things that can get you selected. So I hope I am clear so far. SOP, why MBA, why this institute, why to select you. In why MBA influences, subject, correlation, skill set, why institute, again a thorough research of the website of the institute, and then what is appealing to you, how you're relating to that, why to select you on the basis of your strengths, achievements, the good things, the hobbies, interests, because hobby and interest is so important that when my brother he sat for the interview for Lehman Brothers, he was asked about hobby. So he talked about bridge. It's a card game, bridge, and then they talked more. The interviewers talked more about bridge, and they're able to see that he has got a very analytical and logical mindset, and he was selected for the role of investment banker. So he was not actually interviewed on investment banking. When I went for my interview for IIM Cozy Code, I was asked about my hobby. So I talked about cricket, and they asked me, how do you deliver an in cutter? How do you deliver an outswinger? How do you hold the ball? Which side of the ball is going to be shiny? Which is not going to be shiny? What's the physics behind it? Then they asked me what I'm not good at. So some of you will try to hide your weaknesses or what you're not good at. But maybe that's the only question you'll be asked in the interview. So I was asked, what are you not good at? So I talked about I am not good at higher maths because I haven't studied. Then they gave me three questions about belonging to a higher maths. I was not able to answer, but I was normal. I was smiling, and they were also smiling because they were saying that am I a genuine person or not? So if you're not good at something, of course, if you're tested, you won't be good at it. So you don't have to hide your weaknesses. You don't have to mention about your weaknesses in your SOP or your answer. But if you're asked about them, you have to be very realistic about it. Nobody's expecting you to be perfect because nobody is perfect. Am I clear about all the things that I have discussed so far about SOP? Great, great. So today's session is basically a short session because it is just about writing SOP. I hope this session has been recorded. Yeah, it has been recorded so that if you want to keep revisiting this session, you can do it whenever you're writing your SOP. Apart from this, those students who are having queries about how to prepare for CAT in the next 2 weeks or what to do now, what not to do, can personally message me on Telegram, or they can call me and I can help them, because then everyone's doubt will be different depending on where they are in their preparation, what kind of performance they are getting in their mocks, where they're getting stuck. Sir, is this SOP scanned by bots? Length of SOP. One person is asking about length of SOP, which is very, very relevant. It depends upon like what is the word limit they have given. So every institute will be having a different, word limit. And then you just can't, suppose someone's word limit is 1000 words. You can't just, even if you don't have content for 1000 words, you can't just put whatever you want. I told you this is very objective, not subjective. This is not an essay. You have to be very realistic. You have to be very specific. If your candidature is being reflected in 500 words and the word limit is 750 words, it does not matter. 500 words is also good. If it requires 750 words, then you take 750 words to explain to them why they should be selecting you and why you're interested in MBA and why that particular institute. It's a statement of purpose. Yes, family business background will be beneficial if you have. That's the reason. That's one of the primary reasons. Maybe you're interested in doing a course in how to run a business. Okay, so there are personal questions being asked. I won't be responding to them, but I will be responding to them personally. As I told you, SOP is a very, very personal thing. Similarly, all of you are posting very personal questions, and you can just telegram them to me. And by tomorrow, first I would have responded to all of you. So thank you. And don't worry, I will be responding to everyone. Everyone. Thank you. Work on your SOP in the coming days. Every single student can boost their score. Don't focus on studying more, focus more on whatever you have studied, how to extract the best possible score on the basis of that. That should be the sole agenda. Work on test taking strategy. The next few days, you have to give full time to testing and analysis. And still, if time is left for that in that particular day, on the basis of that analysis, what you think you should be studying for that particular day. So it can be you take a test in the first half of the day and do the analysis on the basis of that. Second half of the day, either you are studying or taking a sectional test, advanced sectional test for a section which didn't go well and your confidence is shaken. But the analysis is the key here. Whenever I used to take a test, after doing the analysis of the test, I used to make a list of do's and don'ts. This is what needs to be done. So thank you. I'll be saying bye now. A lot of students are posting doubts and all. Please, Telegram. Post these questions on Telegram to me. All of you have my number. Sumit sir I can write it down here. I think all of you anyways have my number. This is my number. So 89489666663, telegram me and I'll help you guys. And arigato gozaimasu. Take care. Bye.